Hello, and welcome back to the Strategy Game Butt Kicker channel. I, of course, am your host, Strategy Game Butt Kicker. And in this video, I will again be talking about Conflict of Nations because that's what I've been spending most of my time on in these videos. I know I keep promising that I will be doing more with some other games, and I will eventually be doing that, but I've been busy in the real world. I am an old guy with kids, so, I have other responsibilities, and sometimes life gets in the way of playing. So I have not been playing many games. Mostly what I've been doing is just with this campaign in Conflict of Nations. Primarily, I've been actually getting back and doing this. I've been coming back to this game because I am making videos about it. If I hadn't been making videos about this, it probably would have gone by the wayside. But I am continuing this game for you. I think that's pretty cool of me. I feel proud of myself. Anyway, so what has been happening largely is I have been rebuilding stuff that I lost. I managed to, as far as the people playing goes, I have finished off Iran and Iraq. Thanks, motorcycle. I finished off Iran and Iraq. I finished off Greece in every way possible. There are a few areas, a few provinces, even a couple of cities, occupied cities that Greece has. But Greece has no troops, has control of no homeland cities anymore. So Greece is done. But I want to talk a little bit about Greece later in this video. I want to talk about a lot of things. So I'm hoping not to make this too much of a mishmash and make it confusing. So if I make it confusing, when you get to the end and you think, wow, that was really confusing, sorry about that. But I'm going to try not to. So most of what I've been doing, I have been taking back cities that I lost in the last war, which I lost quite a few, and a bunch of those went to the rogue states. So I've been taking those back. I've also been slowly cleaning out. I've been working mostly on Iran, but I'm going to get down here to Iraq too. A lot of good cities here to take. A lot of good victory points and resources and stuff. So still planning on doing that. India declared war on me again. Like right after the last video when I told you that India had declared war and then tried to make peace, they declared war on me again. But they haven't done anything. They have not attacked. They haven't sent ships over. They haven't done anything. They haven't even talked to me. Just they declared and sitting there being red. And as long as they're not worrying about me, I'm not worrying about them until I get done with all this stuff, which I still have loads of things to do. That coalition does not even exist anymore. India, Iraq, and Iran does not exist because two of those players are not even playing anymore. They're inactive accounts. Inactive accounts, at least in this world. They may have gone on to other worlds. Who knows? But now that I've gotten that out of the way, I want to talk just generally about a focus on armor and what I have learned so far. Now, at this point, I still have more points than everybody else. I've won every major battle I have been in. I've now been in this game for more than a month. I have fought a whole bunch of other countries. I mean, you can look through, I can scan through. I've fought Austria, Romania, Poland. Poland was the first one. Egypt, Ukraine. I mean, look at all the countries that I've fought. I have won every major battle. Now, there have been a few minor battles that I've lost, but I've won every major battle. So at this point, I think I know a few things about playing focused on armor. And that's actually something that most players do. Most players, they start out with armor first. Of course, to start with, they build a handful of infantry. But then once they start building the things that take a little bit longer to develop, they're not building planes and things like that. They're building armor. And even though I have not been building tanks, I have been fighting countries that have tanks, and I have kicked all of their butts. So even though I have not been using tanks, I can still give information about the use of armor generally, including tanks. And I would say there are a couple of things. Even when you are kicking butt, which I am still doing in this game, even when you are kicking butt, there are a couple of problems with an armor focus, especially if that focus means you are not building planes and stuff. One is that, as I've said before, it just takes so much longer. You cannot react. And I think this I think almost all of the problems are related to this in some way. Well, kind of. I'll say there are two big problems. One is the speed, or the lack of speed. It is slow. And because it's slow, one thing that allows you to do, or allows your enemies to do, even after you've beaten them, like I had beaten Iran and Iraq, I had beaten Greece, but I couldn't completely finish them off because, playing by myself, being a lone player, especially a lone player against large land masses, they could just run around in it. They can get out of my way. They don't have to have equipment and troops that can defeat what I'm coming at them with. They just have to get out of the way. And I can't possibly put enough troops in every city to keep them from taking them back. So I take a city, I move on to the next one. They take back the city that I just took from them. I move on to the next one after that, and they take back that one. So, if you have planes, when you see their one little infantry moving into a city, you fly over and you kill it. That's not a problem. But when you have an armor focus and it takes much longer to move around, even though I'm also using artillery, and the artillery under certain circumstances can fly, it still takes much longer. It is a much less efficient way to defeat your enemies, especially if you don't have any planes or helicopters. It takes longer, and it's possible for them to just run around and around and around. Now, if you're working against a small country, that's not a problem. They have less space to run around in. You can corner them and take them out. But when you're dealing with large land masses, whether it's because you're fighting an entire coalition, or because just the countries you're fighting are big. I mean, right now, the land mass that I'm trying to conquer is much larger than what I have, or it's significantly larger. I wouldn't say it's much larger, but it's significantly larger than what I already have. So it takes a lot of stuff. The second big problem is that even when you win, which I have been doing, I've won every war, I've won every major battle, but every time I win, I lose stuff. I lose armor, I lose infantry, every battle, even though I'm ultimately winning. And that means I'm constantly trying to rebuild stuff. It makes it harder to really get to a big level where you just have lots and lots of things. It also means, because I lose armor in every battle, then after I've won, I have to focus on rebuilding that armor, and I can't just make a bunch of infantry, which would make it much easier to take over the territory. So I have to rebuild the armor to be able to finish up the troops that are there, to be able to defend myself in case I get into another war. I have no idea when India might decide to come over and start fighting. I kind of don't think they're going to do that, but they could. So I have to have this armor built up to be able to deal with future threats, and that makes it much slower to take over territory. So I'm still enjoying myself. I've been having a good time, even though most of my play for the last week has been just kind of to keep it going, to be able to continue to make videos and talk about it, and to learn about playing with an armor focus, which is something I've never really done before. Still having a good time, but it is extremely slow. You lose a bunch of troops every war you're in. It's really hard not to. So you lose a bunch of troops, a bunch of equipment. You have to rebuild it. It would probably be a little bit easier if I hadn't been fighting, over and over again, fighting multiple players and stuff, multiple player coalitions. But it takes that long time, and you lose a bunch of troops, which makes it take even longer. It is very slow. I've been making much slower progress, not using planes and stuff. But if I'm able to finish up here, whether I ever do India or not, I have Spain over here, which is a dead account. I still even have an NPC. I have Italy, which is a dead account, I think. I think it's a dead account. It's been acting like one. Even though it has taken back a bunch of territory, I think it's still a dead account. UK. So I have a bunch of stuff that I could go after that's not even an active player. So even if I never went after India, I think I could still easily win just with the stuff I need to take up from Iraq and Iran, Spain, United Kingdom. I think that would probably give me all the victory points I needed. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but I have this flashy light down here saying there are only 6 players left in the game. I don't know who all 6 would be. That actually kind of surprises me. But sometimes it counts people not because they're active players, but because they are Security Council members, which means they pay money. So it never makes them officially inactive in a world. So you can, if you're a Security Council member, you can spend a week away and come back and you still have your account as long as nobody has defeated you. You still have your country in the world. But it says there are 6. Nobody yet has selected to end the game, including me. I see no reason to do that. I would much rather win the old-fashioned way by kicking butt. So anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry about the creaky chair. You know how that is. Thank you for watching. I hope you are enjoying. I hope this has been, an educational journey so far. Please, if you haven't already, like the video. If you haven't already, subscribe so you can see more. I will be continuing to play this and other campaigns within Conflict of Nations, and I will be going back and playing some other strategy games too. But as you probably know, if you are a busy individual, sometimes games have to be put on the back burner. So anyway, stick around and you will see more cool stuff. And if you know somebody that you think likes this kind of information, please send it along. I will see you soon.